Questions you ask yourself that your oligarchs don't even answer you. And you can sit me in front of the idiot tube 24/7, 365, and they're not going to answer these questions. You listen to the same redundant rhetoric coming out of the White House, Capitol Hill, Congress, Supreme Court, which all intents and purposes is nothing but pawns and goats and sheep of a corrupted system of theft and genocide. Criminals trying to be legit with a history of massacre and slaughter and genocide, wars upon wars, bankers backing wars for profit, rich mineral resources around the world. And somehow society has become innately inept, stupid, ignorant. This consumerism, pride, gluttony, very epitome of inhumanity. And the other sectors of the world suffer of your self-indulgence, self-gratification, of the materialism of this world. And nobody is willing to set and answer the hard questions. You go through this illusion every day. And you never answer the hard questions. Like this piece of European, Scottish, criminal, inhumane, uncivilized, immoral, unethical piece of shit of degenerates and hoodlums and criminals. Because you put yourself in the limelight of luxury, somehow that's supposed to negate of your criminality, of your historical past of extortion, real estate theft, defrauding banks, tax evasion, innocent animals, slave labor, illegal undocumented workers, building your empire, mafia, whether it's the Italian mafia, whether it's the Russian mafia, whether it's the Chinese mafia, every gutter rat that you can be involved with, you were. And somehow the stupidity and incompetence of your news promoters, news reporters, so-called political analysts, so-called Washington inner circle, always knew this man was dirty. This man was dirty since the day that he was conceived from his mom. Because his daddy was dirty. And his mom is a typical white woman who just sits aside and just as long as she's getting what she wants on a materialistic basis, she doesn't care where the money comes from. Most like all women of extreme wealth. As long as I'm flaunted, I have my diamonds and my parties and my elite status, I don't care where the money comes from. As long as I have the luxury and the means to live the way I want to live, and my children. So let's not fool yourselves. And it's not just America. It's all over this country. And somehow we make those people your heroes. You make those people celebrities. You make those people that you look up to. Because they have what you don't have. They possess those things that you don't possess. Is supposed to make your life more fulfilling. more worthwhile living, because you're looking at people possessing things you'll never have. And this is what I can never understand. I never get about this society, that people are so stupid, so ineptly stupid and ignorant, that you worship their possessions, their materialism, their gluttony, their criminality, their crimes against humanity, as if they're some kind of hero because you don't possess those things. Hard question. If an average American citizen would go out and commit the crimes this man committed, your house would have been raided. Everything that you possess would have been taken. You'd have been thrown in prison for the rest of your life. And this is the main reason why you don't have a justice system. This is the reason why it's a lawless terrorist regime of pathological lies, lawmakers who make lawless lies that you make loopholes to get out of, that no one really knows how to interpret a terrorist regime criminal's laws, because there are no laws. They're just pathological lies. It's a facade, it's an illusion written by pirates, thieves, uncivilized, barbaric heathens out of the gutters of Spain and England, rural carpetbaggers, peasants that dumped on America's shores. And as I redundantly say, you committed inhumane, heinous, immoral, unethical, uncivilized crimes against a race of people. And somehow you expect that to turn into a civilized society. And the hard question is that from this foundation that you built a so-called country on, that you stole and genocide the original people that were here, and you tell yourselves you're civilized, the government that you so-called leadership, the people that you're supposed to look up to and follow these criminal laws of theft and genocide, immoral acts against civilized people. You worship. And you know the very history of a family, their criminality, the money laundering, back communication, and you hold nobody accountable. You just wipe it out of your mind like it never existed. But yet and still, an average person smokes a joint, you go to prison. The average person who commits a traffic violation, you'll send to jail. Average person that speaks up, you disappear because you tell the truth, because you expose the lies, you expose the deception, the manipulation of the criminality that's going on in your terrorist regime that you call a government in Washington, D.C., in Capitol Hill, and in Congress, and in Supreme Courts. You have no court system, because there can't be a legit court system built on theft and genocide of a race of people. Law on breaking the laws of humanity, that you rape, massacre, pillage from innocent people, There is no such lie, and it never existed. And somehow you don't want to be told this. You want to live in that lamplight, that facade of what you call a civilized society, built on narcissistic conform, compliant sheep that just follow a terrorist regime of pathological historical lies, racism, bigotry, sexism. And somehow this is the fake ass America. And when you're told this, you believe it's a lie. But some criminal and his family members can tell you that it's fake news, that your so-called intelligence, your so-called FBI, your so-called lawmakers are the criminals. Although he has multiple failed businesses. Chapter 11, tax evasion, sexual, obsessed with his daughter. Every immoral act that's out there he committed. That somehow this is truth to you. And this is where we become in this society. We become mockers of civilization and humanity. The tolerant of lies, pathological lies. We become the tolerance of criminals. We become tolerant of the unethical, barbaric, heathens, inhumane subspecies, bottom feeders, of what we once called criminals. But yet and still, people of color you call savages. People of color you call animals. People of color that you call not worthy to be called human beings. But these are the people that you genocide. These are the people that you enslaved and murdered, burned, hung, cut off their testicles, cut off their fingers, dangle them in fire, while a whole city, including a president, watched on. And you call this civilized. You call this a civilized society, that you put little children in cages and feed them bananas like monkeys. You call this civilized. And even in 2018, you put little babies and toddlers and children and young adults in cages, strip them from their parents because they don't look like you. And you call this immigration. There is no such thing as immigration in a stolen country, you dumbasses. When you're going to get to that stupid, mindless, ignorant black hole you call a mind, you can't call immigration in a stolen country where you genocide the very people that lived here. And these are truths that nobody wants to face. These are truths that you'll never hear on your so-called media monkeys in a fake-ass America with your false flag, with your pathological lies, national anthem, and constitution. These are the hard questions nobody asks. How can law exist in a terrorist regime of theft and genocide, massacre, slaughter, stealing land and rich mineral resources, and gaining endless wealth off of it? Why the very people that were here you put on slave camps called reservations? Hard questions that you'll never hear on the news. Hard questions that they'll constantly elude to, because they never want to face the truth that your so-called Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill, Supreme Court, Congress, is nothing but a terrorist regime of pathological historical lies, of racist, bigoted scum. Stand up for the rights of humanity, the rights of everybody. And somehow we cowered. We put our tails between the legs. We ran from truth. And now we become addicts of pathological lies because some criminal, some bottom feeder, some unethical, immoral, barbaric heathen and his family tells you that it's all pathological lies because you were addicted to pathological lies for decades and centuries. That's why. People that are connected with this man's campaign, connected with him and his family, are now going to prison. They're being indicted. Cohen, Manafort, Flynn, Gates. Just go down the line. Just criminals. Stolen fake ass America false flag, fake ass anthem. That's what's indicative of your history anyway. Criminals. So like I said, criminals running a terrorist regime organization that nobody wants to face up to. Everybody, your citizens, your news, your law enforcement, and those who are supposed to be the elitists. Your CIA, your FBI, your NSA, military intelligence, naval intelligence. People who are supposed to gave the oath that you would give your life to protect the country that you so-called love. And yet they come in, bought and sold by Russia, and ruin everything you so-called believed in, which was a lie in the beginning. Because just like I said, karma has a way of bringing out the truth, to shine the light in the darkness of people's pathetic, inept, illiterate ignorance, that everything that you built a country on is false, is a lie. Terrorist regime run by this Russian mafia, Kremlin, KGB, goat, debt whore, pathological liar, sexual deviant, criminal, uncivilized heathen, narcissistic, misogynist, xenophobic, mental ill, 7-year-old adolescent tweeting, McDonald eating monkey. And then somehow you're in the position that you are today. Your news reporters don't even have the answer because they're constantly putting this piece of filth on the air. And everything they talk about, everything they spread is about the criminality of this man. And your so-called, if you have about patriotism, actually care about their country, actually care about legitimacy, actually cared about a true Supreme Court, Congress, a Senate, lawmakers, if you truly cared, if you truly honored a civilized society, this man would not even exist. And everything that he has conjured up in this criminal cartel he calls a White House and Capitol Hill and Congress would never exist. A Republican Party bought and sold by Russia, a Democratic Party bought and sold by Russia, because nothing happened, because everybody's on the take. Everybody's in the back pocket of Putin. Let's just this wouldn't be carrying on, and the whole Mueller facade that one person and his organization of monkeys is supposed to have all this information, supposed to have all these people come forward and all these people coming forward and saying this man is a criminal, but nothing is done. The man runs free behind your criminal laws. You hide behind your criminal Supreme Court. You hide behind your criminal Congress. Because if you were legit, if you were fucking legit, this man would not exist. For once in your pathetic lives, American people, for once in your conform, compliant, complacent, inept, ignorant lives, open your eyes. Wake the fuck up and see what is going on right before your eyes and your children. Your children are being slaughtered. In Flint, Michigan, your children are being poisoned. Your children are being slaughtered in the schools where they're supposed to be learning and learning to is snatched away from them because some pathological idiot criminal, just like the president that is supposed to be a president of a so-called stolen country, allows NRA, who was also bought and sold by Russia, your gun-toting, redneck, inept, ignorant, incest, inbred, uncivilized heathens running in and out of your schools, killing your children. You see a black man killing your children? You see a black man walking into your theater, slaughtering people, taking cars, running down people. Having a marathon, killing people. Is that a black man doing this? When are you people going to get it? When are you people actually going to sit down and learn anything? I don't care where you got a degree from Harvard. I don't care where you got a degree from Temple. You're ineptly ignorant if you don't hold up the flag of humanity, of true civilization, of true mankind. When you constantly, relentlessly, redundantly allow terrorist pieces of filth from Europe demasculate, dehumanize you as a so-called civilization, you know better than they are. Just because you get up and go to work every day, just because you're not committing these crimes, but you allow it to happen because you sit in the convenience of your home and just agree with it. You embrace it. You allow them to pollute your mind with historical, pathological, racist, bigoted lies, sexist, sexual harassment, sexual abuse, sodomy from your so-called Vatican, religious leaders, Jesuits. Once more, of extreme stolen wealth. It has history of child molestation, pedophiles, sexual deviance. But you follow this as if you glorify barbaric heathens. Religious zealots or government oligarchs. But you don't get that. I guess true humanity means nothing anymore. Morality means nothing anymore. If you just sit and just embrace it like it's truth. Hard questions. You won't stop racism because your country was built on it. Let's just be factual. You're not going to stop suppression of the working class, poor people, the elderly, because your country was built on it. Brutalizing, victimizing the less fortunate. You profit off of it. Your corporate 500, nothing but legalized thieves. Your Wall Street, legalized thieves. Your Federal Reserve, legalized thieves. Your courts, your judges, prosecutors, legalized thieves, because you are made up by pathological, historical, racist, bigoted lies of theft and genocide. And how can anything with of criminal pirates and thieves and terrorists be legit? Be a democracy? But you never were a democracy. You've always been an oligarch. And that's the biggest, that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Every man is to be created equal and endowed with these inevitable rights. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is bullshit. It never was. And you keep passing that same old garbage down from generation to generation with the illusion that you live in a civilized society. You don't. You live in a society of barbaric terrorist heathens. But nobody wants to tell the truth. Everybody wants to hide. Everybody wants to put their tails between their legs. Because if you had men and women who really truly honored justice, really truly honored humanity, this mockery of a presidency, this mockery of a Washington, D.C., this mockery of a Congress, this mockery of a Supreme Court, this mockery of an investigation, this mockery of your FBI, your CIA, your NSA, military intelligence, naval intelligence. It's about, if you truly honored and truly were patriots, this man would not even exist. He would not even be able to even run a campaign. And that campaign, as everybody knows and beginning to know, was just a mass garbage sewer. Putin, KGB, Kremlin, hacking monkeys, spies, moles, traitors like Trump and his little white supremacist neo-Nazi terrorist regime. Nobody wants to answer the hard questions. It's a conspiracy theory. It's fake news. If every criminal that's in prison right now would use the same philosophy this man is using, you would have no prisons, because everybody would be not guilty. And your unlawful plea bargainings. When you're a criminal, you're a criminal. You can't plead anything. You're a criminal. What's that all about? Oh, because we got loopholes in your fake ass laws and your fake ass Justice Department, your DOJ, your Supreme Court, your federal, state, local, justice system is just as corrupt as your forefathers were. Pirates, thieves, terrorists, off of terrorist pirate ships from Spain and England. Why complain now in 2018 when it always was? It never was legit. It never was legal. Because you tell a lie long enough, you perpetuate that lie long enough. You have idiots who don't think for themselves. You tell it to them over and over again, redundantly, on idiot tubes that they look at as truth, and never do research, never find out what truth really is. It's easy to tell reprobated fools lies because they have no intelligence to perceive what truth and what lies is. That's what you call a reprobate. And what do we see today, 2018? Reprobates that believe a lie quicker than they will the truth. And you have your media monkeys and you have your news monkeys on TV every day talking about the same old garbage. Why did it exist in the first place? When you know the man was dirty, him and his family, his father, his grandfather, uncle, were all criminals, mafia, from day one, that bought their way into America. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about money. Stolen wealth from stolen resources. Rape, pillage from, and genocide. That's your United States of America that nobody will tell you about. And if you think some kind of justice, legal system is going to come from that, there's a condo on the moon I'll sell you too, if you're that stupid to believe this bullshit. So if you're truly willing to do the thing, CIA, NSA, Naval Intelligence, Army Intelligence, you would put this piece of uncivilized Scottish piece of filth and his family in prison for the rest of their lives for what they've done against humanity. I'm done.